Welcome to a winter wonderland version of what I eat in a day. I have a feeling this is going to be a more vlog-esque. There's going to be a lot of clips and cuts that I'm adding into this, so it's not just going to be me sitting here talking to you, because I want to actively show you what I'm putting into my body during the daytime. I also filmed this over the course of 2 weeks, so you won't necessarily see a full day, like one single day of what I'm eating, though I am very consistent, so I was actually tracking everything I was eating. But the reason why I filmed this over half of a month is because I am trying a new program called Nutrisense. More on that to come. For continued information on the weight loss surgery process, a peek into my life, what I'm eating, what I'm doing, what I'm loving, Disney content, planning vacations, mamahood, and magic, please make sure you are subscribed here. I have some pretty big goals for 2023 for this channel, so I hope you will join us and our BariTale family as we move toward those. Going to either hope and or pretend that this eyelash stays down. Okay? Okay, let's establish some things to keep in mind while you watch today's video. I have mentioned this in the other 2 January 2023 videos, so if you've seen them, you've heard this, but January 2023 is my 3.5-year weight loss surgery. I had the gastric sleeve anniversary. So I'm telling you that because if you are fresh post-op, you're right out of surgery, you are in that hardest phase post-op, this might not yet be the video for you, because my actions, my portion sizes, they might not fit with the lifestyle that you currently are living in. However, this could be your future, so it might be a video that you want to watch or save for later. My portions will and should seem very different from a fresh post-op patient's portions. A little bit of background. I came out of surgery weighing 235 pounds, and since then I have lost almost 100 pounds and I've been able to keep that weight off. I am 5'2½", and yes, I do count the half because it matters. I'm 37 years old and I have a 7-year-old daughter, Callie. So if you're comparing our journeys, I think those are all the factors that you might need to know. The goal of today's video is to show you what my normal, my new normal looks like. Because I know that post-op, a lot of us feel like, will my life ever be normal again? And the answer is yes and no. It won't be what it used to be. So your old normal is something you have to move forward from, but a new normal becomes established, and it's not as extreme as I think society makes it out to be. I'm also working this year to level up on my nutrition game, which is not a sentence I ever thought I would say with fidelity. This includes monitoring my glucose levels, which is not something I have done consistently. When I was pregnant and weighing in at over 260 pounds with my daughter, I had gestational diabetes. A lot of that diagnosis was due not necessarily to my diet while I was pregnant, but because of my obesity. And because of this diagnosis and my weight, my health factors, I was more at risk for developing type 2 diabetes later. So because of this, I'm really interested to see what I can learn about how glucose functions in my body. With gestational diabetes, I did have to prick my fingers like 3 or 4 times a day. I was looking for a specific number to pop up. I couldn't have very many sugars or carbs, so my diet was really limited, which gives me a glimpse into the fact that if I was predisposed to type 2 diabetes, that would be a lifestyle for me, and that is absolutely not something that I want in my future. So I've been wearing and trying out a glucose monitor from the brand Nutrisense. The glucose monitor is called a CGM, which stands for Continuous Glucose Monitor, and it's a 3-part system. It's the actual device, which I will show you momentarily. It's the app, and it's also access to a dietitian. The goal is to optimize my metabolic health. Again, Those words, the fact that I'm saying those words to you, it sounds like I've been comfortable in the health sphere forever. Absolutely not. If you're watching this pre-op, immediately post-op and thinking, we just want to see what she eats in a day, why is she talking to us about leveling up her health game? It's because you will likely get to this stage too. Once you see what your body is capable of, you'll want to know more. So I'm going to cut to a clip to show you how I applied this, what it looks like, and then we'll get into how it works. Good morning. It is January 1st, and this video is going to be a little bit different from my like sit down and talk through videos with you, because I am using a new tool in the new year to track my nutrition and see how I can like level up for this year. So the tool that I'm using is called Nutrisense. You actually have to like apply something, a sensor, to the back of your arm, and you leave it on for 2 weeks. And using the app, which I've just downloaded, it's going to give me data. So things about glucose, it already logged my morning run today, analytics. So I will be sharing this like along the way, as well as like what I'm eating and how it's impacting my body. The reason that I'm in a sports bra is because I didn't want to be here in a regular bra while I attach. But I wanted to bring you along for the attachment process in case you are interested. I am going to leave all of the Nutrisense information in the description box below for you. So if you like the information that you are getting or that I'm able to get from this program, maybe it's something for you to try as well. It did have to be like a legitimate prescription. So I had to send information and talked to a doctor at Nutrisense before they would send me this information. So I have my little quick start guide, but I also have directions. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, so step 1, I'm going to take this alcohol wipe. I think I'm gonna do it on my left arm. This is a tiny little square. I don't think this is supposed to hurt. We'll find out. Open this little container. Okay. It looks honestly like a circular ink cartridge. Am I being microchipped? Like what? What is this? Okay. 4, this goes in here. Do I turn this? Push down. Oh, okay. This looks like it's going to hurt. It's a needle. This is a needle. Okay. It's the new year, friends. We're so brave. We're so brave. Right here? Right here? Three, 2, 1. Oh, that didn't hurt at all. Oh! That didn't hurt at all. And then I think you're supposed to apply this guy like over the sensor, this black thing. There are rules, so you can get it wet for like up to 30 minutes at a time, which might be an issue for my bathtub love. But it also says like, don't go swimming with this or don't expose this to salt water. And I'm supposed to do a polar plunge next week. Stay tuned on Instagram. Actually, I will already have done it by the time this video is out. Okay, is this on? Did I do it? Feels kind of weird. That's okay. So the quick start guide says that I need to activate my sensor. In the app menu, click settings. Okay, sensor, activate new sensor. Oh, ready to scan. Oh, weird. You can begin scanning your sensor in an hour Make sure to scan your sensor at least once every 8 hours. Sensor settings expires in 14 days. And I will get a dietitian assigned tomorrow to me. Very cool. A little scary, but very cool. I'm going to leave a link in the description box to the Nutrisense quiz to see if this is something that might work for you as well. The quiz is entirely free. I took it too, and it asks you about your body, your goals, and if this might actually work for you. So I will leave the free quiz in the description box if you are curious about this program. Even if you are not pre-diabetic, I think this is a really interesting body experiment because it gives you real-time data as to how the foods you're eating interact with your body, including things like your energy level and your sleep. If you want to learn what you should or should not be eating, not because of their health properties, but because of how they actually interact inside your body, take the quiz. I promise it's interesting. Honestly, I was scared to put this device on. Once I saw the little like tracking, it looked like a dystopian novel thing to me as someone who reads a lot. And the needle, I was scared, but I truly didn't feel it at all. It took a few days to get used to it because and it's still on, there's like a little extra part of your skin that's hard, but it doesn't hurt, it doesn't interfere with your daily life, it just exists. The black tape did fall off like 72 hours into this, so if you want to try this and you're like, I don't want to put that adhesive on, you don't have to. It also made my skin a little bit itchy, so I was happy when it fell off. Okay, let's start with breakfast. In 3.5 years, my breakfast routine has stayed the same, which is really interesting because I am not someone who eats the same foods or hyper focuses on the same foods for like weeks or months at a time. I'm honestly surprised that I'm not sick of protein shakes. I still really enjoy them. And I start almost every single day with the chocolate Fairlife protein shake. They come in 2 different protein quantities. There's the 26 and the 45. I can have both now, but I still prefer the 26. At the beginning of being post-op until like almost 16 to 18 months in that journey, I couldn't have the 45 because it was too heavy. I still drink the 45 much more slowly, but I don't feel super full quickly when I have it. Immediately post-op, I did. So I wouldn't recommend that if that's where you are in your journey, that you stick to something that is going to be easier for you to drink and digest and not make you feel uncomfortable. Good morning. This might be the worst lit footage that I have ever filmed, but it is pre-sunrise. I'm at school. It's the winter, so typically the sun does not come up until I'm into like one of my first classes. That's okay. But I'm about to have breakfast before my kiddos arrive and the day begins. This morning I have woken up, I stretched, I've taken my vitamins. I'm in a different kind of outfit for me. I have a sweater on, like over a vest, tucked into a belt. I'm going for that like Parisian girl vibe, I suppose. And I did heatless waves last night. And I think they look pretty cute in the front, and the back might be a disaster. But we will see as they fall throughout the course of the day. None of this is important because it's not why you're here. This is my protein shake. Now, I know I have either talked to you or am going to talk to you about the difference in protein numbers. I would choose the 26 every single time because this does taste slightly chalky to me, and it is going to take me much longer to drink the 42 grams. The bonus is that you're getting 42 grams, which is more than my day, like more than half my day's protein in one meal. So I'll go slower. I get a lot of questions about straw usage post-op, that like clinics will tell you that you should not be using straws. And in the beginning, that's true because you're drinking more than you think you are through a small hole, which means that your pouch is getting filled faster. I have learned to regulate that. Another woman reached out on Instagram and said it's because you get wrinkly lips from this motion. That may be true. I think that's what filler is going to be for, probably later in my life, because without the straw, I tend to I'm someone who wants to chug it. So the straw actually does slow me down. So I'm going to have breakfast, settle in, check my emails, get ready for my students, and have a great day. These are fast and convenient. The downside is that they are expensive per bottle, at least where I live, and that works for me for breakfast. As you know, I'm a high school teacher, so I get up very early, but I've also had clients who switch eating something more solid like eggs in the morning for breakfast, and then will bring their protein shake for work because it's easier or more convenient for them to have it at lunch. It doesn't matter when you have it. I think the general rule is that most clinics don't want their clients having more than one protein shake a day because they want you to then consume real protein that you can actually chew. My other go-to protein shake, you know what's coming, is from 310 Nutrition. This is one I make at home. I am into the peppermint flavor right now because it's winter, and I'm really liking their new complete protein line. It's a little bit different from their previous protein packets. You know, I have raved about 310 Nutrition for a long time because their product is easy to digest, it comes in a variety of flavors, and it's clean. I love those little individual packets. I think they are amazing for travel, and they give you a variety taste test so you can figure out which ones you like the most. Oh, and 310 also has recipes which I follow all the time, and I've also shown you in videos of years past how I use their protein powder to make protein bars, protein cereal, protein balls. I add it into things I bake. The unflavored one is still my go-to favorite. I will leave a link with their products in the description box below, and I have a discount code because they have been kind enough to work with me after my years of basically sponsoring them here on this channel. I'm actually in the process of getting ready to film this video, or the intro explanation parts right now. And before I do that, I'm going to take all my vitamins. If you watched my reel about my morning routine, I think this was 2 weeks ago. I will put it here for you as well. I talked about getting up, needing to move my body right away. So I did a little workout this morning that was really challenging. I showered, I've had breakfast, starting the water process, or continuing, I guess, and getting ready to take my vitamins. So because I want this to be a complete, these are the things that go into my body in a day. We are starting with my Keto multivitamin. These are the Ritual ones. I share them with Callie. These are vegan. They do get a little sticky in the bottle, and you need to take 3. So it's kind of weird because for us post-op, we're supposed to split the vitamins. So I take 2 in the morning and 1 at night. These are the orange flavor ones, and surprisingly, shockingly, I like these. My other favorite, can you have a favorite vitamin? This is a post-op world, I suppose you can. My other favorite vitamin is from Mary Ruth's Organics. They're sugar-free, and I don't know how she does it, but they're really, really good. They taste like a treat. So I'd recommend those. I'll leave them in a link below to Amazon. And then I take 2, right now, it's winter. I'm taking the Elderberry Plus. These are from Highlands Naturals. Power immune support with black elderberry, vitamin C, and zinc. Anything to prevent me from getting sick. I take my magnesium. Some people take this in the morning, and some people take it in the evening. I don't think either way is wrong. But once I'm in let's take all the vitamins, that's kind of the mode I get into. I'm also taking a Pro Daily Immunity, 2 of these. These are from Vitamin Bounty. And these are from Bio Emblem, if you're interested. And I'm going to take some organic ginkgo leaf. This is from Mary Ruth's Organics. Right under the tongue. You can mix this with water. Honestly, it kind of tastes like honey to me, so I like it. What I'm missing right now in my vitamin game and my supplement game is one for my hair, skin, and nails. I feel like I've always taken one and I stopped taking one, and I don't think it necessarily has affected my hair growth, but I do think it helps with like thickness. My nails grow faster. I do see a difference. So if you have a good recommendation, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna continue getting ready and I'll see you in this video so soon. So typically I don't snack between breakfast meal and lunch because my protein shakes typically fill me up so that I don't feel the need to snack, and I do eat an early lunch. I'm Portuguese. I don't know if that resonates with any of you, but we like an early meal. Lunch is my wild card. It's also my favorite meal of the day. Will you let me know in the comments below if lunch is also your favorite? I am a leftovers queen at lunch. Queen of leftovers. That could be my other title. Chelsea, BariTale coach, queen of leftovers. It's so true. Right now, I am very into making my own soups. That's the most adult, boring statement I have ever said out loud. Soup is my jam, which is interesting because post-op, I was in the summer, my surgery was in July, and I ate so much soup that I was like, I'm never eating soup again. I hate soup. I just want to chew something, right? When you're in the liquid puree phase. Trust me, it gets better. You might even come back to soup and then go through an era where making soup is your whole personality. My favorites are a tomato soup, like a creamy tomato. I love clam chowder now. I don't make that myself, and I probably wouldn't eat it in the winter because the clams are frozen and not fresh. I know I'm spoiled. I live on Cape Cod. Callie recently requested a broccoli cheddar soup, which is interesting because I had never had that before and certainly had never made it. And not to go back and harp on 310 Nutrition, but I always add in a scoop of their unflavored protein powder to my portions of soup, sometimes to the vat of it, so that I'm getting it evenly distributed, but it melts in and you don't taste it. Bonus protein. So I've been eating a lot of broccoli and cheddar soup because I definitely made too much. Roll the clip. Good morning. It is still morning, but because I teach high school, I am about to eat my lunch, and I wanted to show you that I am bringing in this broccoli cheddar soup. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it is full of protein. I did add, before I re-microwaved it, the microwave is in the copy room back here, a little shot of protein powder to it, and then once I put it in the microwave, it just dissolves in. It's very cheesy. Real broccoli, edamame beans. Have you seen that episode of Bluey? If you have children, you might know what I'm talking about. It's very cute. But the plan is to eat my lunch, to eat my broccoli cheddar soup. I made or brought in way too much. So this is my soup cup. It's probably full to here. That's likely a cup and a half. I'm not sure I'll be able to eat all of that, but I also brought myself a snack that I'm sure we'll talk about, but it's peanut butter and celery for extra protein. I have stopped drinking my water. In fact, I need to refill it for after lunch. I'm just home from school, and I wanted to show you, I know this looks gross, but
so good.
It's so good, and this is as much soup as I ate, so I ended up eating like 3/4 to a whole cup of soup, and I did eat, this is my lunchbox, by the way. Do not come for me in the comments about school. I still have 2 peanut butter and celery sticks left for my snack. I'm gonna give them to this little hungry bunny. You're welcome. Celery, an apple pouch, hot cocoa, and cheese. You are a protein-fueled little 90s babe.
Hey!
I like it. So now I will dump this out. Reset for tomorrow's lunch. My snacking tends to come in between lunch and dinner. So here is my snacking rule. Always add a protein. Always. Not sometimes, not inconsistently, not when you feel like it. Add a protein. Here is why. So if you're going to eat a carb, Because most of the time our snack cravings don't come because we're hungry. We could be dehydrated or tired or frustrated. There's usually an emotional level. So the first, I suppose, thing is that you need to identify, is it true hunger? And make sure you're honoring that hunger. So eat something. But if you're going to lean into a carb, you want to make sure that you're adding a protein, so therefore you're eating less of the carb. Does that make sense? The more protein you're consuming, the faster your tummy fills up, the less carbs or slider foods you can put into it. Now, I love snacky protein. I love a cheese. I love peanut butter. I love nuts, hummus, all good things. Happy to eat them. You could also add a cottage cheese or a yogurt. I can't do the texture of cottage cheese. I can add it into things like eggs. Ooh, so smooth and good. But I can't just eat it on its own. My daughter does that. Can you do that? The idea of carbs being a slider food is exactly what it sounds like. They slide right into your digestive tract and they slide right out. They leave very little nutritional residue behind, and you're not always full. We can attest to, right? I have personally sat down to eat a box of Cheez-Its and then I'm still hungry afterwards. So sliding in on out, but if you add a protein, they're more likely to be stickier, more fibrous. And now it's time for dinner. Cue Beauty and the Beast. For the past several years, when we say dinner, we mean cooking with Every Plate. I don't know why they don't sponsor me by now. Every Plate, are you listening? I'm your #1 fan. What I love about getting my Every Plate box in the mail is that the meals are pre-portioned. Nothing goes to waste. It's less expensive than the grocery store, and I am getting variety in my recipes. I know exactly how long it's going to take me to cook dinner. It's typically under 30 minutes. I know I'm getting the protein that I need, and I'll have leftovers. We have ours set to 2 portions a meal and then 3 meals a week. So those 2 portions actually feed both Mark and I, as well as Callie, with leftovers. Every Plate is costing us $45 a week. I do have like an affiliate code. I don't work with Every Plate. I'm just a regular consumer for them, but I will leave the code in the description box because it will get you money off your first box. So recently over the holidays, I was cooking using some new cookbooks that Callie and I had received, and I made a lasagna. And it became so evident and obvious to me that I'm used to cooking for 2 people when the lasagna could feed 30, or at least that's what it felt like. We were lucky enough to be able to bring it to a lovely friend's house for New Year's Eve, but the leftovers are almost intimidating when you're cooking out of a cookbook, because when it even says it feeds 4, keep in mind that's gonna feed you one of those 4 for 3 days. So really, it's going to feed 8. So let's make dinner together, okay? It's a weeknight and it's time to make dinner. If you hear some background noises, I have a very cute sous chef sitting across from me playing with her new Osmo that Santa brought her.
No, Mimi.
Well, Santa brought you the iPad, and then Mimi gave her the Osmo things. She's doing a little tanagram work. Because it's a weeknight, my go-to meal that doesn't require any prep, or my go-to recipes, come from Every Plate. If you have watched any of my What I Eat in a Day, except for on vacation, this has been featured. And every time I get comments like, this is just an ad. Every Plate does not know who I am, sadly. They should sponsor these videos. It's just me. As a consumer of Every Plate, I do have a code to get you a discount off your boxes, but it's not an affiliate code. I will leave it in the description box. Tonight, it's a Tuesday, so we stick with a Taco Tuesday or some type of like Mexican-inspired Tuesday. Good job. We are doing a pepper jack, it's supposed to be mushroom, quesadilla with caramelized onions, lime crema, and spicy pico. Now, Every Plate is the little sister of HelloFresh, meaning that their produce, everything comes in one box, which I actually prefer because I think it's more eco-friendly, whereas HelloFresh comes beautifully wrapped, like each meal comes in its own little bag and you just take the bag out, everything's already in there. You do have to dig for some ingredients. Because of that, and I don't have the individual bags, I sometimes steal ingredients from EveryPlate and use them in other recipes. I did that. I stole the mushrooms out of here. I've already used them, but I did have pre-cooked meal prepped chicken in the fridge, so I'm going to put that in. But if you wanted this to be just a veggie dish, don't steal the mushrooms out of it and use it in another recipe. You will likely also see some add-ons that I have in my own refrigerator, things that are staples like salsa, sour cream. I have a little bit of guacamole, one avocado, thank you. And then I also used the tomato out of this recipe, so I have a handful of little cherry tomatoes that I'll be using as well. The recipe cards for EveryPlate, they look like this. They tell you how much prep time, how much time total that this recipe should take, all of the ingredients, what you'll need from home, and then step-by-step directions on the back. I find these visuals very helpful, and I do love to cook, but I also love knowing when I come home that I can have dinner on the table in a half an hour, and I adapt a lot of these into my slow cooker for busy nights as well. I do pick my meals weekly, and you can skip meals on the app, which looks, sorry if that's so bright, like this. If you don't pick your meals, it will pre-select them, but I can see here that I have skipped the next upcoming 2 weeks because I do have so many EveryPlate meals to cook. So one of the things I love on the app with every recipe, in case for some reason the card you get isn't right or it doesn't come with the card, the customer service of EveryPlate is fantastic. We've had over 90 boxes with them, and every time something is missing, or let's say like an ingredient comes but it's not good anymore, particularly the produce, they'll refund you the whole box. It's such good customer service. But this is telling me on the app that the meal we're about to eat has 37 grams of protein per serving. I won't be able to eat an entire serving, but that's quite a bit. I do tend to use like the protein amounts for the recipes that I pick, like I base them off of heavier protein. In our weekly boxes, we get 3 meals per week, 2 servings per meal. And somehow those 2 servings stretch to Callie and I splitting 1 serving usually, or I'll make her something additional. Tonight I'll probably just do chicken and cheese for her. Mark gets his own serving, sometimes more than that, and then I still find room for leftovers, which you've probably seen when we talked about lunch. So it's a pretty good value. It's $45 a week for these 3 meals. It gets me lunches, and it is still less expensive than going to the grocery store. I have found, especially over the holidays, when I was cooking more out of like traditional cookbooks, I was finding that those ingredients had skyrocketed in price and that they were way more expensive than my EveryPlate. Plus, there's no waste. It's all used. I really like it. It's fast. Okay, that's enough of a commercial for EveryPlate. It's time to get cooking. Like most EveryPlate recipes, I tend to start with my veggies because they either need roasting longer than other things. In this particular recipe, the chicken is already cooked and I don't have mushrooms to prepare. So I am going to quarter my lime. To be honest, I am probably not going to use this jalapeno because it's a little too spicy for Callie. So it's here, likely not going to use it. I have an onion that I cut in half from last night's EveryPlate. Mark can never remember the name of EveryPlate. So he calls it, what does Daddy call?
I forget.
You forget?
Yeah.
He calls it Happy Home sometimes. We are now going to slice the onion. It says finely chop a few slices until you have 2 tablespoons. So I'm really the only one in my household who likes onion, though whenever we caramelize it, Mark will eat it and then he'll pretend like he's liked onion all along. So I'm probably going to save this.
That's true.
Yeah, he always does that. Save that quarter.
Yeah, why does he do that?
I know. And then I have my tiny little tomatoes. Just gonna dice these up.
I remember.
That is very smart.
Let's see.
lastly, for the veg, and I had this at home, this didn't come in the box. I'm just gonna scrape out my avocado.
Can I also have some right
Yeah, you can use some salad right now. I am heating up a little bit of olive oil in my always pan, and I'm going to add the pre-cooked chicken into here just to warm it up a little bit. I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. I am using black lava sea salt, so if you think that I just added extra pepper, I did not. It is from Hawaii and it's expiring soon, so I'm trying to get all of my use of sea salt from our last Aulani trip. Actually, this is from our 2 trips ago, like the original trip before this little nugget was even born. While the chicken reheats, I am taking both of my sour cream packets from every plate and I'm putting them into a small Valentine's Day themed Disney bowl. How cute these little bowls are. I think when my mom gave these to me, she thought that they were going to be Christmas last year because they're red, but they're definitely Valentine's Day. I'm going to add a squeeze of lime juice. You could also zest your lime and add that, and just a drizzle of water. You want this to be a drizzly consistency. This is the lime crema, so you don't want it to be the same thickness as sour cream. Cooking lessons with Chelsea. And then I will add a little bit of salt and pepper to that. I also have just plain sour cream for Callie. I'm going to get the chicken off, and then I will add a little bit more olive oil, and I will put my onions on. A little more salt and pepper for them. So these need to be on for about 8 to 10 minutes. The heat goes down to like between low and medium. And then after that, to caramelize them, we'll add a little bit of water, possibly some sugar, and let them cook down. Do you wanna know how you're an adult? Callie and I just bought a new
because I broke it.
pepper grinder, a pepper mill, because she did break the other one by accident while doing a very independent task. And this one is from, I think, Peugeot.
Woohoo!
Peugeot.
Peugeot.
Peugeot. And look how pretty she is. These are the things that make me excited. While our onions are cooking down, oops, we're going to make our own salsa.
Ooh, salsa.
So I do have some salsa left in here, which I expect we'll probably eat more of, but I am going to add, can I make a little bit of like, do you want the avocado entirely separate, or can I make a little bit of like avocado mash? How about I leave a little bit out just for you? Okay. So I'm gonna make some of my own guacamole here. I'm gonna leave a little bit of guac out just for Cal, but I'm gonna put a bunch of avocado in this little bowl. I'm going to add the chopped up tomatoes that I had. I am gonna cut a very, very, very small amount of onion to go in here. I'm gonna give it a little lime squeeze, salt and pepper. Now I do have like a fancy guacamole masher that is designed for a much longer cooking process, and I'll take my sour cream spoon because I'm all about utilizing multiple ingredients and kind of stir this together and let it sit. Let me show you my platter of choices. Ooh. So this is a Lazy Susan. We have 2 different kinds of sour cream right here, a cheese, a spicy cheese in the bag. This came with every plate. The salsa that I have that was in the jar, our homemade guacamole, our chicken, our caramelized onions, and some limes. I put our quesadillas in damp paper towels, and then I just put them in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then everything is ready to be set up at the dinner table. Almost time to eat. This is the dinner setup. I am using my Uba plate as always, even though this doesn't really have 3 separate courses, it's just become normal now. Callie's has a little bit of plain guacamole. I put the tortillas on marks. Here's our Lazy Susan. Lovely. If you are interested in the Uba plate, which is ceramic, and it's intended to be used for portion control, but I use the big side for protein, the medium for veg, and then the smallest side for carbohydrates instead of how it's traditionally used, where like your veggies would go on this side. I will leave a link for that in the description box. It is something that I use almost every day and that I gifted to many people over Christmas. But yeah, here's our dinner setup. This is what my taco looks like. We're gonna see how much I can get through. Are you enjoying your...
I'm just using these. I put some on the side.
Yeah, what else is new? All right, let's bite it.
I can't bite mine as a taco.
Messy? Yeah. Mine's very messy. After about 20 minutes, this little nubby is the end. I wish I could eat it because it was delicious, but I just can't. I am satisfied, full of protein, but I don't feel bad. Before we go, I wanted to give you my review and experience using the Nutrisense CGM, or the constant glucose monitoring system that I've been using over the past several weeks. So in case I didn't show you how this works, I'm in the app right now, and I think I showed you this when I initially started. I'm gonna put it near the glucose sensor. I do have multiple layers on. That worked through many layers of clothing. So what you're seeing here is real-time data based on my eating and hydration levels from the past 8 hours. These are not the best numbers. So my initial thoughts were that the screen itself looked really intimidating. Like, I was not entirely sure how to interpret these numbers. But then after being guided to some specific articles, as well as working with my personal dietitian, whose name is Patrick, and he has been wonderful, I was able to do some decoding. So if you are interested in using the Nutrisense system, know that there might be a little learning curve, but I kind of knew that going into it, and it's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to use it, because I want to learn something new. So on the screen, there is a color coding system, just like stoplights. Green is great. Yellow, orange means there is an area to work on, and red is like, ooh, you need some help. So there are some numbers to keep in mind here when you're looking at this data. You want your peak of the day glucose-wise to be 140 or less. So the app here is telling me that my max today was 178, which probably means that I ate either too much sugar or too many carbohydrates in one period, and I can see that that happened between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. So that's definitely going to be my lunch at school, where I did have corn chowder, and I'm wondering what ingredient in that is setting this off. So those are the questions that I get to ask Patrick, because I will send him the recipes, and then he can say, ooh, this is what particular ingredient looked like inside your body. Or if your peak was a max of 130, but then previous to that you were steady at a 70, that's too much of a gap. So the idea is to keep your glucose levels relatively even throughout the day, and you can visually see the peaks and valleys on the app. The other number that's important is the standard deviation number. So the dietitians on the app will tell you that they want that to be optimally 14 or less, and I am consistently at a 16. So I asked Patrick in a message to him, because again, this is a two-way street, about how do I lower that number, because 14 and under is really prime for weight loss. And his suggestions were limiting carbohydrate consumption, reducing overall calorie intake, possibly lowering your fat intake, increasing consumption of fresh produce, short-term fasting, which I don't do and I don't think works well with my hormones, increased physical activity, and I'm doing a really good job of that, And then I thought the last one was interesting because I always preach this. Prioritizing protein, shooting for 20 to 3 grams per meal, consuming protein first in a sequence can help blunt the glucose increase. So this is me just needing to live by my own rules. So I've learned a lot in this 2-week period about how certain ingredients impact my body, what it looks like that maybe I'm waiting too long to snack certain days, so I have dips in my glucose and then they shoot back up, which isn't necessarily good for me. So I am learning a lot by working with Patrick. This is still on. As you just saw me scan, my little CGM is still on, and I think taking it off will be interesting. Maybe I'll do a TikTok or a reel about how does this come off my body because it expires in a 2-week period. But I thought you might want my overall feedback. I think this is a really interesting program, whether you are pre-diabetic or not. And again, everything related to Nutrisense will be in the description box below. If you want to try Nutrisense, I have a 25% off code that I will leave in the description box. Again, I think it's one of those things that will definitely help you if you are trying to monitor glucose levels and you have worries about diabetes, but I also think it's just another way to get data about what's happening inside your body post-op, and I am fascinated by that. Remember, you can also take the quiz without a commitment, totally for free, just to see if you are interested in this. All of the other products that I've mentioned in today's video that I love, like 310 Nutrition, the Uba portion plate, I will leave links to those below as well. I hope this is helpful for you in your post-op journey, just getting to see what I'm eating, how much I'm able to consume, things that are helping me, and my daily routine of vitamins, etc. I hope you will ask me any questions that you still have after today's video. Did the lash stay down? We'll find out when I'm editing, I suppose. It's gonna be too late. Even if it didn't, here we are in all of our imperfections. Thank you so much for being here today. I love you so much. I hope you're having a beautiful start to your year, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.